Hi, I'm Harsh. I belong to an era where I grew up watching Tom and Jerry. And many times, each of them faced a dilemma. And that's when their conscience and their temptation popped up. We live with this every day. A lot more than we know it, just with different names. Instant gratification and delayed gratification. In the good old days, as anyone in my age bracket would say, the distinction was easy to make out. No pain, no gain. Slow and steady wins the race. If you want to enjoy the rainbow, be prepared to endure the storm. Common morals of stories I heard as a child. However, times have changed. Today, we live in a world where increasingly experiences are valued much more than assets. The youth of today are content using Ola and Uber rather than spending capital buying a car. They prefer taking a nicer holiday more often, but live in a rented apartment rather than save up for a house. It is a world where gratification needs to be instant. In fact, I just learned it's a world of YOLO. Yes, I now know you live only once. And please do not get me wrong, it is not necessarily a bad thing. If by pushing out your purchase of a house by 5, 6 or maybe 10 years, you are able to live a better lifestyle than otherwise you would have been able to afford, make less sacrifices at the age of 25 or 30, it makes complete sense to me. However, a small point I would like to make here is that this does not apply when it comes to fitness and healthcare. Definitely no shortcuts here for sure. We've all heard our mom and grandmom say, "Beta, badam kha lo, yaddash achhi rahegi, school mein awwal aoge." Yes, but gulping down a kilo of almonds a few days before the exam is not going to help. You probably should have started with 5 to 8 almonds every day at the start of the year. Fundamentally, good health is a long-term project. It begins from how and what you eat and how and what you do to burn what you eat. In other words, eat well, exercise well, every day. No exceptions. There can be exceptions, but so long as they remain within the definition of exceptions. And the problems associated with instant gratification are not limited to diet and exercise. Therapists are complaining that patients are leaving treatments incomplete just because they felt better in 1 or 2 sessions. Doctors of chronic illnesses are constantly putting up with patients looking up Google and stopping treatment or even changing courses unilaterally midway. I run a startup into digital health records. Everybody agrees that there should be a digital backup to their health history, which today is largely on paper. But nobody wants to instill that discipline to maintain such a backup and be regular in updating it. All of these are problems associated with the "I want it now" phenomenon. Cadbury's, Pizza Hut, Kingfisher are now rewards. We don't order a pizza and a beer expecting to experience the enjoyment in 30 or 40 days. Pleasure systems are now or never. And we as humans like immediate, instant gratification. It makes more sense to us. And we don't get any immediate rewards for eating healthy each day or exercising every day. So what can be done? Well, the answer lies in Wordle. This latest craze, it's on its way to become the next Sudoku. That one puzzle in the news or on their website in the current case, which every fanatic spends time trying to establish the answer. After a few minutes, you figuring it out and get that aha moment, a little reward. I did it. This reward is what helps you continue this cycle of playing and conquering. But what happens if someone hands you a 5,000 page stack of Wordle puzzles to complete? You may start, but soon will become overwhelmed with the sheer amount to solve. Weeks will pass by without any significant progress being made. That little immediate reward is lost in the volume of the task. And I'm quite certain that after a few hundred words, you will be wondering why you began doing what you were doing in the first place. It's just not as much fun anymore, if at all. And that is what we must remember when we approach improving our health, our exercise, our eating habits in general. If we set out to lose 15-20 kilos of fat after decades of unhealthy eating and exercise habits, it's a daunting task. But a little immediate reward that we may get along the way is lost in the volume of the task. Good health is a long-term project, and sooner or later we need some personal conviction that we are making progress, a little pat on our back. So break down that target into smaller bits and celebrate each milestone. So if you're planning to lose, say, 10 kilos of weight in 6 months, just do that in sessions of 1 to 2 kilos per month, with a good amount of celebrations planned for achievement of each milestone. You may take longer than 6 months, yes, but you will surely get there without having to doubt why you were doing it in the first place. Being able to delay gratification is certainly a helpful asset in any measure of success. But if your plan is to always delay gratification indefinitely, so you can actually risk straight up deprivation. This can be stressful on both the mind and the body. And hence I suggest that you strike a balance in adopting healthy habits that bring you short-term gratification and long-term benefits. Another trick is to seek company. Yes, we do like to surprise our peers by showing up with a good physique achieved after weeks and months of hard work. But even if we can pick out a few of them, of our peers, to be a part of a health journey, and then, mind you, each will ensure that the other stays on track. It will make the journey a lot easier and surely a lot more fun. In a conversation with a very well-read person not so recently, I was told that every modern concept can actually be found, referred to, or defined somewhere in Hindu scriptures. While preparing for this talk, I decided to dig in. Guess what? The 3,000-year-old Katha Upanishad uses two marvelous words in this context. Preya, the lure of pleasurable sensual enjoyment and temporary ego satisfaction, and Shreya, the commitment to do which is beneficial and good in the long run, that which will help us attain lasting eternal fulfillment, self-realization. The choice is truly ours, which path we want to tread. But we have to remember that it will have a clear effect on our life's journey. But more importantly, the best thing is that we don't have to choose. If we can manage a middle path that brings you the best of both, as long as we continue to move in the right direction. Signing off, this is Harsh, Preya and Shreya. Have a good day. Thank you.